championship fights are heating up in the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. There's a four-wheeled frenzy as Chris Borich and Walker Fowler duke it out on ATVs, while Charlie Mullins is bouncing back against his teammate Caleb Russell. We'll see what happens today at round 6. It's showtime here at Loretta Lynn's ranch, but we don't mean the noise of country music. We're talking about finely tuned race machines in the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series Round 6. This is the Parts Unlimited Loretta Lynn's GNCC at Loretta's house. This is her backyard. It's her ranch. We've been racing here since the early 1980s, one of the most venerable stops on the tour. And we'll be racing ATVs and bikes as we do every weekend. All the riders battling for an AMA National Championship. We'll start our coverage with the ATV side. Riders will be tackling this famous motocross track. Bike riders know it from the Amateur National Finals. ATV folks know it from the Pro Motocross Finals. On the cross-country day, riders like Chris Borich and his championship rival here, Walker Fowler, know the motocross track is just a small portion of this terrain. So the ground game here in the fields, the motocross section, this is Adam McGill showing off during opening ceremonies. The real winner of this race will be born out in the woods. The ups and downs, the mud, the hills. That's what's going to make this one interesting. So let's get started and drop the hammer at Loretta Lynn's ranch. I'm Jason Wygant here giving you the call, and a fist pump from Adam McGill celebrating this good start and the whole shot on the RacingPowersports.com, CST Tires, PirateMX.com back machine. He's going to pick up a few $100 from Twin Air and DeRisi Racing, and this is the terrain I was talking about, up and down in the woods. Yeah, the motocross track is fun. We've got some jumps out there. You saw what McGill can do in the fields, spinning that machine around, doing some donuts. But if you want to earn the money today, you've got to do it in the trees. McGill off strong. Haven't seen him get good starts this year, so it's going to help him big time. Chris Borich in second. One of the young kids, Bryson Neal, and another one of the kids, Jay Shadron, right there, third and fourth. Landon Wolf and Chris Bithell just went by. So a real challenge here for the young kids this season. It has been a theme. McGill and Borich have won plenty of races. They've been up front in this championship for a long time. Hand off the bars, another fist pump from McGill. And this is a rough track. It's hard to do that. See these young kids coming through. It's a perfect mix. You got 3 established big guns and 3 youngsters right there sandwiched in. Now what's deceiving about this track, if you come here and check it out on the motocross day, the track's got some clay on it. It's fairly hard packed, but here in the woods, it's pretty sandy, and it gets whooped out and really rough. As Neal and Shadron come through, then Wolf and Bithell. So good to see the kids coming up through the amateur ranks. And good to see McGill and Borich helping out with the lawn care here. We'll just get rid of those leaves for you. I don't think they have time to stop and bag them up. Just mulch it a little bit. Thanks, Bryson Neal. And here comes the distinctive headlights and the rest of Jay Shadron's machine with Jay on it, yes. And then Landon Wolf and Bithell on those Suzukis duking it out for a piece of the top 5. But right now, Adam McGill had 2 podiums this year, 2 top 3 finishes. A different line. He's off to the rider's left. Here is Borich around the outside. Borich didn't gain any ground there, but you know he's going to save everything he learns on this first lap and try to use it to his advantage on the last lap. That's the way Borich likes to play it. Meanwhile, got these kids right in the mix, and every week they seem to stay there a little bit longer, although now Bithell has made the move on Wolf. Either way, they stay in there an extra mile or 2, an extra few minutes. It just makes it that much easier the next time around. So the kids from the amateur ranks, they would like to see a changing of the guard here. As for McGill and Borich, the veteran favorites that are up front, they're going to do everything they can to prevent that from happening, including kicking up some dust, make it difficult on everybody else. So he's fist pumping, he's kicking the dust up, everything going Adam McGill's way so far.
Twins have notoriously been very hard on crankshafts because that big long stroke of those two cylinders just flexes the crankshaft around. So we were seeing bearing issues. Research development people at AMSOIL could show us that it was likely an oil problem. And they were correct. That was the issue. Instead of having to redesign the engine, I just had to do a better quality oil.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. You're watching the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. Loretta Lynn's Ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee is the host site of this, the Parts Unlimited GNCC. I'm Jason Wygant, your host, and that is Adam McGill leading the way. He's quite a character. He might want to host one of these things one day just as badly as I would like to lead one of them. I'm going to keep this job, and I know I cannot get his. Boric doing everything he can in second place to keep McGill honest, but McGill is strong early on. But the rider to watch, Chris Bithell, he was about sixth at one point. Now he's up to third. It's time to put the radar out for Walker Fowler. We see Bryson Neal, Landon Wolf, Jay Shadron. Now we finally see Fowler. He's the one second in points, second in the championship last year, and he has been fighting Boric for this year's championship, and he's got some work to do. He's got to pass these young guys before he can even get in sight of the lead pack. And here is Fowler going to work. He's got all three of the kids in front of him. And Fowler's not that old himself. He was in a similar position coming through the youth and amateur ranks for a few years. Now he's one of the top pros. But today's top riders are McGill and Boric. They've got a nice lead built up over everyone else. Boric was sitting back there studying. Chris Bithell in third. He's hustling. He's got to try to bridge that gap. See these shiny parts right here? That's pretty slippery. You can't grab too much throttle. You'll spin that machine sideways, you hit a tree, and your day's over. Trees don't move. So McGill's been able to avoid those types of mistakes. He looks pretty relaxed up front. But when you have Chris Boric back there, what is Boric doing? He's pumping the fist as well. I don't know if he was adjusting something. See a member of his crew with his hands up saying, what's the deal? But anyway, if it weren't for that, we wouldn't be worried at all, because this is the way Boric likes to do it. He just stalks you all race long, and then in the last lap, finds something special. Chris Bithell knows it all too well. He'd still like to be in that fight anyway. We'll go back to the kids. And it's still a four-rider duel. Neal, Wolf, Fowler, Shadron, trying to get up into that top three. Now, one X factor here, as we see Bithell has closed the gap on Boric, is going to be lap traffic. They'll hit it eventually, and that's really tough. Look at this section right here, trees on both sides. There's really no other place to go. This uphill is going to allow some options if you need to take them. But the bottom line is, when you're the leader and you get to the lappers, they don't expect to get lapped until you get there. Then when everybody else hits it, then they know that they're going a lap down, and they're a little more apt, or just basically less in shock, so they move over more readily. So that's going to hurt McGill. We'll also have pit stops in this thing. We'll see what the strategy will be. Fowler appears to have busted through the kids and moved up to fourth. These are a little bit shorter laps than usual today. We're going to go 6 laps. So how are they going to play the pit game? Looks like McGill, no, that's actually Bithell and McGill are in the pit, gassing up. Not even changing goggles for McGill. He's out of the pits and still in the number 1 spot. Bithell has climbed to second. Chris Boric bumped back to third. And now we see Bithell coming through, I believe, in the lead. So that pace that he was running to try to catch them, well, he just maintained it. And once he caught them, he went by. Wow, what a run for Bithell. He is no stranger to coming through traffic. Not normally the ace off the line. Now we see Boric, and McGill has been pushed back to third. So we'll see if that's a strategy thing. Does he want to watch them for a while, or have the two Suzukis simply overwhelmed him? They're starting to inch away a little bit. We'll see if McGill can ratchet it back up and hang with them. If you can see them, it's a lot easier. If you fall far enough behind where you can't follow, well, it's going to be tough. And these two like to ride with each other. Bithel and Boric, good buds off the track. So when they're flying information, that's a formidable duo to knock off. Meanwhile, Walker Fowler back there trying to do what Bithel did earlier, and that is bridge the gap to this lead trio. Oh, that is just perfect dirt. Great traction down there. We have great weather for today's race. You see McGill, he has not let them go. He has stayed in the hunt. So let's see if this guy, Walker Fowler, can keep on flying toward the front and make it a four-rider duel for the win. This should be a great race. Stay with us on Racer TV. The bikes are next.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of tires, ATV and UTV accessories, and OEM parts, to our online chat, customer reviews, and instructional videos. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Time for our highlights from the bike race here at Loretta Lynn Ranch, and these guys had to endure the conditions. It rained big time before their race began, so what you saw on the ATV event with absolutely perfect conditions, not the case here. But cross-country racers are a hardy bunch. They've raced it much worse than this. We'll set the scene for the championship. Caleb Russell, last year's champ, struggled at round one, came back to win 3 in a row. Charlie Mullins won the last race and the first one. So they're about even Steven in points. And here we go. We're going to take it to the mud on 2 wheels. And what a surprise. Russell is going to grab the whole shot. All Balls Racing will give him some money. We don't normally see those kind of good starts from KR. And he apparently does not know what to do with it because he coughed the lead up to his teammate Mullins. So the 2 FMF factory KTM riders up front. That's the way it's been the last year and a half in this series. It has been hard for anyone to run with them. The guy who's going to try it today, the number 7 of Jordan Ashburn on the Ampro and Fab Yamaha. The rest of the field filing in behind. Let's see what they can do in the hills of Loretta Lynn Ranch. Now the good news is down in the woods it won't be quite as muddy, but not quite as bad. See some standing water there. Sometimes the trees and the leaves absorb some of the rain. See tons of standing water out here in the field section. And here's your Rocky Mountain ATV MC replay. It's a rare Caleb Russell hole shot on that KTM 350. He had it dialed in. And you know, Caleb also had a good start at a muddy race we had in North Carolina about a month ago. Part of me wonders if his strategy changes in these muddy events, because when you're behind everyone, as they say, when you're leading, you catch, when you're leading, you throw the mud. When you're behind, you catch the mud. And he'd rather give it to everyone else right now. Even though it's a little nerve-wracking to lead these things early, the riders don't get to practice on the course. They can walk the course and look at things, but the first time they actually ride on it is in the race. And when you're leading, it's a lot to deal with. Not a problem for most of these guys, though. They've been at it for a long time. Look at that. A stop for goggles. Russell already trashed those things. But maybe that's a smart way to play it. He's going to lose the lead to his teammate Mullins, but who knows? Maybe Mullins will lose goggles, but look at the hot rod go. He's going to take full advantage of this situation. And he is so good early in these races. Russell's going to have to hustle to get back in sight. Josh Strang on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Yamaha is there in third. He has been the closest challenger to the KTM duo this season. But once again, these two on the orange bikes, it looks like they want a private duel, and Russell has retaken the lead from Mullins. And Strang is right there. So great racing Russell with the hammer down, almost crashed here in the field. He is not taking any chances. These guys used to pace themselves at the beginning of these 3-hour events. Now they just go full bore all the way. That doesn't even seem physically possible. But you got to do it when second place is right on you or when the leader is right in front of you. So they're just pushing to new heights. Russell and Mullins, another classic here at Loretta Lynn Ranch. But you have to wonder about strategy sometimes in these races. Russell stopping for the goggles, getting them back, getting the lead back as well. And now Mullins seems pretty comfortable back there. So it's anyone's race at this point. Oh, it's so close. Duking it out wheel to wheel all day long. But now we come onto the motocross track, and the report is that Russell stopped for a splash of gas. That let Mullins get close. And then Mullins able to take the lead. A little mistake by Russell, and now here we are. Dust is being kicked up. That's surprise number one. Surprise number two, we're coming down to the finish, and Mullins has about his largest lead of the race. We're only talking about 5 or 6 seconds, but it should be enough for him to get the job done. Charlie Mullins looking for a victory today to be his second straight, and that would be huge in the series standings. Russell, you just see him in the back of the picture. Charlie Mullins has the checkered flag and the win, and this guy's not going to be happy. It was a great battle today between the teammates, but neither of them like to finish in second, and that's the way it was for today for your champion. Another great run for the Australian Strang. He finishes third as you look at the AMSOIL results. Chris Bach on the Johnny Campbell Racing Rockstar Honda. Good job in fourth. Ashburn fifth. DeLong, Whibley, Koikita, Adam Bador, and Ryan Sykes round out the top 10.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. We're going to give you the highlights of the Can-Am Pro 4x4 race from Saturday morning here at Loretta Lynn's. These big machines are unbelievable. 700 pounds. But they have huge horsepower, and they go just as fast as the 450 Sport Quads. And this class is loaded. Kevin Trantham, Brian Buckhannon, who've won a bunch of titles in this series before, battling it out. Robert Smith would get in the mix. Michael Swift here in third on the Polaris. In the end, Buckhannon would emerge with the victory. 5 different winners in 6 rounds of racing in that Pro 4x4 class. Back to our afternoon pro event for ATVs. The Killer Bees, Chris Bithell and Chris Borch battling it out on their Suzukis. They pulled away just a bit from third place, Adam McGill, who was leading it earlier. I've got to wonder how much energy did the number 4 here of Bithell expend. He did not have a good start. He had to work his way from about 6th to get into the lead. That's a lot of effort. Will that catch up with him later? Chris Borich, who is in second, has been circulating up front all day long, measuring himself. Same with McGill. Bithell has been racy this year. 3 top 3 finishes through the first 5 rounds, and a couple of hole shots, better starts than usual. They're in the thick of lap traffic. You see they put a couple of riders behind them. So that's going to mix things up as well. There's Walker Fowler, 4th place. About as close as he has been to the front runners. So he won't give up. Same with McGill in third. They do not want to see one of these Killer Bees take the wins. They want to sting them. But so much talk about everyone else. What can you say about Chris Borich there in the number 2 spot? This is the position he puts himself in year after year on his Maxxis Suzuki. He just lines you up, and then the last lap, everything he learned, watching your style, watching where you're going, he puts it to good use, and makes the patented last lap Borich pass. Looks like Fowler has lost a little ground again. I think he was a little bit closer the last time we saw him, but he has got to throw caution to the wind. Uh-oh! And as always, he picks one heck of a time to do it. Time is running out in this one. Will it be another patented last lap Chris Borich pass? And will that get him to victory lane? Look at this, McGill's pushing with Fowler. What happened to Bithell? Like I said, he expended a lot of energy to come from 6th to 1st. Maybe here late in the day it has caught up to him. McGill and Fowler now in a full-on duel for 2nd place. What an effort from Fowler from way back. I don't think he's going to be able to catch Borich today, but he wants to minimize the damage in this series as Borich tries to put the finishing touches on what would be his 4th win in a row and his 5th in the 6 races this year. And he is, by the way, Borich, the all-time leader in GNCC victories. He's a living legend right now, and he's going to add to it. Another strong ride here at Loretta Lynn Ranch. He's got to attack the motocross course for the final time, and he's going to have himself another victory and further stretch out that series lead. But what a fight for 2nd, McGill and Fowler. These two have been battling for years. Today, no exception. Now through the dust, over the jumps. Who's going to take it? McGill has got to ride the widest Honda he can. He's pinching off Fowler in every corner. Borich has got the victory, wheelies across the line. We'll keep focused on this battle for 2nd. Fowler trying everything, but he's going to come up short. Adam McGill, a great run, led a lot of laps today. Finishes up 2nd. Championship points sandwiched between Borich and Fowler today as we look at the AMSOIL results. Bithell and Jared McClure round out the top 5. Here's the kids, Neil and Wolf, 6-7. Brian Wolf, Jay Shadrick, Jeff Pickens round out your top 10. We'll give you the AMSOIL race recap. Adam McGill got the whole shot. Off to the races. Early on, he was gone. It was a question of, could anyone stay close enough to figure something out later? The rider to do it, Chris Borich. The way he likes to play the game, then follows you in 2nd, figures out the lines. Soon they were joined by a 3rd combatant in Chris Bithell. Bithell took the lead for a bit. But when it counted, as always, the patented Chris Borich style in the last lap, he finds something special. He gets the win, leaving McGill and Fowler to fight for 2nd and 3rd. Thanks for watching. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. See you next week.